You want to move over? Yeah, Lauren, you can come.
Okay, I'm recording.
Yeah, you can.
We are still at our team retreat. Hi, everybody. We have Danielle live via satellite from California. And we are going to do our Summit 2016 recap. And I just wanted to quickly share a little video with everybody.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
Please don't let this be the karaoke video.
I can, you can, yeah. Phoenix coming down, oh, being able to change the world. Check it. Yo, I woke up this morning with a dream to change the world. Just wanna bring a smile to every boy and every girl. Can't do it by myself, on my own and all alone. The world is changing now, so let's all get in the zone. Every woman, every man, come and join me, lend a hand. It's time to step in and bring out your world. Send the open nature, freedom and equality. It's possible, just need a new mentality. And open up my mind, open up my spirit, and get what you want instead of us first. Them always focused on the enemy. You'll see that your enemy is just like you and me. The world is one country and mankind is citizens. Time to come together, young all celebrating. Turn war into peace, turn hate into love. Turn your brother to a smile, go feel sympathy and love. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. Open up your heart, stand mind, understand reality. Prosperity is not within you. God, peace and harmony inside yourself. So see me as your brother. See me as your brother. Or your sister. I hope you're mountain. And you are my mouth. It's a journey of the mountains, big and still as that is. Now I got my face, one hand can tie it up. Let's unite and see that one kid from good to best. And put a smile on the face of my kindness to say, I can and you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. As you have done to you, cause change in the world starts with the golden rule. We gotta celebrate diversity and show love universally. Cause everyone on earth is part of one community. Black, white, red, tan, rich, poor, woman, man, atheist, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Baha'i, Buddhist, Sikh, or Hindu. What if you were judged for the language that you spoke? What kind of feelings do you think you would evoke to think of down because of your race or face, religious persecution, conquer in the world of prejudice and start a revolution? I'm talking no more hunger and no more pain, no more violence and no more slaves, no more hatred and no more greed, no more homeless or broken families, no more pollution, no more disease, no more corruption, no more poverty, no more discrimination. Kids need an education, gotta give hope to the young and coming generation. Look towards the future and forget about our sins. Take a moment to reflect, cause the power is within. Sing it, Awu. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. I can, you can. We can change the world. Every black man and every white man, we connected as one. One people, yeah. Take my hand, everybody now. I'll take your hand. Come together, y'all. Come true. Yeah. We can all make a change. Make a change. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that gets us in the mood to talk about what we're talking about. Right.
I guess we probably should have established who's going to start.
Yeah. Anyone burning to start?
I'll start. One of my biggest takeaways, which happened last year too, which was super overwhelming but like awesome at the same time, is how like there's thousands of us there, and we are all ages, all different sizes, all different races, all different from all different parts of our lives. Like we're all have other jobs, like we're just like there's just so many people there all doing the same thing, and it just goes to show how literally anybody can do this. They can be successful with it, they can change their lives with it, and I just like that. To me is one of my favorite parts about this company, is how they don't single anyone out. They don't like only allow certain people to be a coach. Like anybody can do this, and that is like such a powerful message. And I knew that, but every time I went to Summit, like I remember like last year when I went, I was like just blown away by it. It's like it, but then when you can actually see it with all the people there, it's just like, holy shit, like this is my family, and we're all in this for like to change our own lives and other people's lives. And that to me is like one of my biggest takeaways every time. I think that's amazing.
That's why I love that they do the Super Saturdays quarterly.
Yeah.
To give that chance.
I think one of the things that's
My water.
one of my big ones along those same lines was, and several people stressed it in different ways. Michael Neiman talked about it when he told the rat story. Mm-hmm. Carl talked about it a couple times. Several of the top coaches that spoke talked about it a couple times, is the coach difference and what makes having a coach special in your health and fitness journey. And that's really why we are sort of a valuable asset. And I liked the rat story, and I liked the way Carl put it as well, as it's truly being that advocate and cheering section for people when they can't do it for themselves. So having, the rat story is about sort of teachers and leaders telling you that you can, and you are capable, and you're worth it. But as coaches, we're doing that as well. We're not experts. We're not, here to give people medical advice or clinical advice, but we really are the people that can tell them you're capable, you are worth taking the time to do this, and you will get there, and you can reach those goals no matter how incredible they are. And we're doing that when they aren't capable of doing it for themselves, which is just a huge, huge value.
I agree with that.
I think one of the things that I took was just needing to be sure that always I was there to remove any doubt about myself and my abilities and my commitment to the products and to being a coach, and to know that I'm in it for the long haul. And it's not about Success Club points or about money or anything like that. It's about genuinely knowing that this is good for me, it's good for my family, it's good for the people, and genuinely caring about people. And if I get to that place where I'm just unapologetically committed and have belief in this, that will translate and really serve people. Because I think sometimes you get in your head and it's like, get out of your own way. Just know and believe, and it will resonate with people.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it kind of struck me when
I need to lean in and say hi to.
Oh, I'll scoot over.
Oh shit.
See her. That's really a good point, because it resonated with me when Gary Vaynerchuk was speaking, because none of his business pursuits have been anything remarkable. No, he was in the liquor business. He's then did an online wine business. He's now in social media investments and in marketing investments. He hasn't done anything, completely groundbreaking. But he's so engaging and so confident that like he could sell ice to an Eskimo. Like he's just, and it's that confidence. It's just that unapologetic belief in what I'm doing is something you want, what I'm doing is something you need, what I'm doing is something that will help you, that people flock to it. And it's scary, but like to behave like that is probably the scariest thing for most people. It comes naturally to some, not to most. But it's truly what makes the difference when you're building a business. Is if you don't believe in it, people are going to see it immediately.
They see it immediately.
I just finished the 10X rule yesterday, and that's basically the point of the whole story, is to completely 100% have faith in what you're doing and commit first and then figure it out later.
Yeah.
That was the big thing he ended with yesterday, and I was like, damn. Yeah. And then I started the entrepreneur roller coaster.
Yes, that's so good.
That you had said it to me, and then when Candace had mentioned it the other night on the live Q&A.
Oh, sorry, I was working during that. I missed that.
If you guys haven't watched it yet, you absolutely should. She answered a lot of shit. It was like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that, but it was a really good call.
I wonder. Oh, but it was live, so I don't think I can share it.
Yeah, no, I just saved it into my videos for the week.
But it's in so
yeah.
You can go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I saw yesterday was Amy Silverman and her fiance or whatever they are. And they were talking about they just paid off years of debt. They paid down like $80,000 this year within the last like 5 or 6 months or something like that. They were one of the big things was she had said that they made the investment and they went to whatever the Tony Robbins event is. Right. And it's expensive, but they were saying that was
life-changing.
They both went through it separately, but when they got back together at the end of it, they were like, all right, this is the time to do it. And they haven't, like, her background too was she was waitressing and she went to art school, and so it wasn't anything. She's like, I don't have any significant background in any of this, but now she's number 2 in the freaking company.
It's such a good point because
she's
there's
only
nothing
6
special
years.
about any of the people that are.
She's only 6 years into this. She's only been coaching
that's
6 years.
That's been my takeaway 2 years in a row is that you don't have to be an anybody to be a somebody.
Right.
In addition to that, I think I got frustrated when people would constantly say that only lucky people are successful in network marketing. You have to be super lucky.
Who said
really?
that?
There's a lot. You've never
People
heard
that
of
are
people that are not in our team. No, not coaches. I mean people that are. I'm trying to. My sister, for example. Why do you still do this? 2 years into it, you're a nobody. You haven't done anything with it. But my thing is, I do it for my own personal development. I do it for the friendships that I've made. I do it because the products, I believe in them, they work. I do it for my family. I mean, my sister came to my house last week to see my fridge because she didn't believe me. I was trying to help her clean her house up. And she realized that I really have made all these changes in 2 years. And it's not from anything other than what I've learned from just being part of a community that supports healthy, clean eating and fitness. And
our team has been the biggest piece of this whole puzzle for me personally anyways. I mean, obviously the shake and the workouts are fabulous, but the team aspect and the community that being a part of, it's unlike anything that I've ever been a part of. And it reminds me of being a part of like teams from school, except it's completely gone beyond that because you become like a family with them. You're with them all the time and you're all thinking the same way.
It's a really good parallel though, and that would make a good poster about like because most people have experienced a team like a sports team or so people relate to that. And it's a good comparison because it is a lot like that. It's that camaraderie, that team spirit, that goes
all working towards the same general goal, all trying to tackle the same sort of issues. So it's like
Yeah, and like what
That's
you
fine.
were saying, I just forget which one of you said. I think it was you who brought up how like anyone can be successful. Like when they had the top 10 on stage, I actually have a recording. I should post it to our page. I recorded their conversations, and like almost every single one of them said, "I am a regular person. I am no better than you. I just put in the work to get myself here." But like Megan Ewaldson, I think is her name. She is, I don't know what number she was, but she was in the top 10. And she said how she has only been a coach for 2 years. And she is in the top 10. And she was a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And she accomplished that in 2 years. Like, that is insane to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting here like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like, why would anyone want my help? Like, all these things. And it's like, who fucking cares? Like, just
get over
sorry.
it.
Well, there's
But you know what I mean? Like, why don't I feel like I have enough to offer people? Like, same for all of us.
I
Like,
know.
we have so much
for sure,
to
that was
offer.
my issue. It was
There's-
weight and being overweight.
Not having to FaceTime with people and just getting lost in your own thought has been.
But the other thing is, there's different coaches for everybody, and
Mhm.
coaches
Yes.
really do come from all walks of life. And I've had people message me that aren't even using Beachbody products that keep saying like, even if you're not coaching, please keep posting on Facebook because it's totally motivational and inspirational.
Right,
And
exactly.
we love your charisma and your style. And I'm like, okay, so I'm catching some people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna capture everybody. Not everybody is gonna be drawn to my style.
But that's a good thing. And I'm learning that. Like, we were kind of talking about this yesterday, how, like, it's really one thing that I struggle with is, like, I want to help everybody.
Yeah. No.
But I
should.
can't help everybody. Not everyone wants my help. And I need to be okay with that. Not that I'm not okay with it, but you know what I mean? Like, I need to be better at making a brand and figuring out who speaks to me. Because that's like what a lot of the summit sessions talked about too. Is like focusing on who you are and people who are similar to you and attracting those people to you, because those are the people that you're going to be able to help the most. And then that way you're not wasting your time trying to help other people who just aren't clicking well with you. And it gets frustrating because you're like, why won't you do this? Why won't you do that? And it's not because of me or you. Like, it's not, like, it has nothing to do with you as the coach not being able to help them. It's just either you're not connecting with them, maybe they're not ready yet. Like, there's just, but it's like being okay with that and being able to let it go and not letting it make you feel like you don't know what you're doing and you can't be a coach. Like, that is what is tough, but something that needs
think
to
about your
grow. Like,
think about your time in school, like your 12 years of grade school and then college if you went to college. There's probably 5 teachers that I can think of that I was like, they inspired me, they touched me, they impacted my life.
One.
Those aren't the same 5 that my classmates would have chosen. So it's different teachers that are going to speak. Yeah, they taught me things, but they're not the people I vibed with. And there's going to be different people for different.
Right.
Sort of, I mean, not everybody's going to reach every student, not everyone's going to reach every customer. It's just not the same. Yeah.
And then going back to the being lucky people, Gary Vaynerchuk had mentioned, I think he posted something the other day, but it was like, no, it was like when you were out of college and you were partying down the Jersey Shore and you were fist pumping and whatever. It's like, no, I worked 15-hour days. That's not luck. That was earning.
Yeah,
So
he said that in his summit speech too, and that was like,
it could have been. It might have been.
Yeah.
He definitely shared it the other day, though.
Yeah.
It was this week.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's so true. It's hard. That's the
I think it was you that live streamed. Somebody live streamed it. I watched the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you guys live streamed anything, I watched the entire
It's just
thing.
awesome. Kudos.
I wanted to be there so badly.
Well, you kind of were. Like,
I felt
next
as
thing.
close as I could be not being there. And so
Yeah,
I was glad that we had that available, because last year there wasn't live streaming. So it's like to have that availability to be able to feel connected and still be in Massachusetts. It's like, thank you.
I'm pretty sure doing that gave me a knot in my neck that lasted like 2 weeks. That's why I'm trying to hold my heart so still. I'm sorry. I literally had like a sore neck for a couple weeks, and after a while, I was like, the only thing I can think of is I was like sitting there trying to hold my arms still for hours. But
There was one, Jackie, I was sitting next to you, and you were like curled up on the chair, and you were just like,
arm on my back, and I was like,
that is dedication from our leader right there. Because I would have shut it off for sure if I were you.
But I have the whole thing. So you can watch it if you
oh
want.
my god, that was
It's the 30 minutes, I guess.
Yeah. And then definitely, did you see the Amy Silverman thing yesterday? Or, yeah, it was yesterday she posted it.
I didn't see it. I was sleeping and working.
Yeah, it was her and her husband, and they're outside on the deck, and it was a decent video, but it is worth listening to and finding, because it just gave such a perspective as to how not so long ago it was that they were literally doing the same things as us, and they hadn't always lived on an island like they do now. She was like, we lived in freaking Oregon, and then packed up, like got rid of the majority of everything, went to California or something, San Francisco, and then moved to the other side of the bay. So it's like they've always just kind of been like, okay, I'm gonna jump now and then figure it out, which is what the Grant Cardone thing came back to. Commit now and figure it out.
Yeah.
What
was that?
I was going to say, it kind of relates to that. One of my biggest takeaways that kind of really hit home for me was, and a few of the sessions touched on this, but it was that done is better than perfect. Like just do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know, Jackie, I feel like you're my spirit animal in this. Like I'm always just so caught up in like, it's not perfect, so I won't put it out there yet, but I'm holding myself back, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's better if it's not. Like, it's better if we don't come across perfect, and show that we're real, and people relate to that a lot better. So that's like, I have to keep reminding myself of that. And since Summit, I actually wrote it on my big whiteboard in my office, like, just get it done, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So that was one of my biggest takeaways for sure. I still struggle with it, but I'm definitely working on it a lot more.
I can't remember if it was during the workout or whether it was during her speech in the general session, but she said, when you perfect something, you take the emotion out of it, and it's the emotion that people respond to.
Ooh, I like that.
So,
Can you say that again? I couldn't hear you. I didn't hear. I just couldn't hear the quote or whatever.
and when you perfect something, you remove the emotion.
Okay.
Emotion that people respond to.
Oh, I like that.
Something you're kind of getting technical and not
Mhm.
your heart into it.
Yep.
I love her. Her podcast. I know her Snapchats are so fun.
Yeah, they like your Snapchat.
Are they actually sisters?
Yeah.
They are.
They talk.
They sound
They sound
exactly
very
the same.
I think my biggest takeaway was just keep going, no matter what. Like even the top people struggle still, like 15-star diamonds.
Like be in this for not just a year from now, but like 3 to 5 years from now, or like for life. I'm in it for, but like if you're gonna give yourself some sort of a like, I need to do this for at least this long, it's gotta be 3 to 5 years, not 1 year. Like I've been in November, it'll be 3 years for me. And when I started, I envisioned myself being like a superstar diamond by this point. And clearly that's not the case, but I'm okay with that, because what I needed was a lot of growth personally, like personal development, and it's taking me a very long time to get over myself for certain things, but I'm getting there. And like, who cares how long that takes? Like for me, I'm not gonna be the top coach in 2 years, obviously, but I mean, not that that's my goal anyways, but you know what I mean? Like everyone has their own
Eventually.
journey. Everyone has their own like pieces of their life that they need to work on. But what Beachbody gives to you is the avenue. They teach you how to work on those parts of you that you need. Like, it's not just a sales company. Like, they're not like, sell this stuff and you'll make a lot of money. Like, they don't even want you to sell. Like, what sales company doesn't want you to sell? Like, that just blows my mind how focused on helping people they are, and how they make products that do help people, but then they give us the opportunity to be that extra piece that is like, that like seals the deal.
Your well-being.
Yeah. And they tell you to do personal development. Like, why are there not personal development classes in elementary school, high school, college? Like, that blows my mind.
Such a better student had I even known about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even like just a class that teaches you how to be successful.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
set you up
Critical
for failure.
thinking. And
Yeah.
I think
Like,
personal
it
development
blows my
actually is probably the biggest takeaway
It
from
absolutely is.
all
Like,
of
when
the
they-
body that I've gotten.
when they change,
Absolutely.
they're talking about changing the order of the vital behaviors, and I'm like shocked that personal development is not number one.
Number one. I know.
It's fine, like, it doesn't need to be, like, for me it's number one, but I'm like, that surprised me. I mean, yeah, you need to be proof the products work, obviously, but like, that for me has been huge. But, and also, like, it doesn't matter. Like, for me, it's taking me longer, but that's okay.
I've listened to more
Who
books in
cares?
the last year alone than I have in the entire time I've been out of school.
Mhm.
So it's like, and that I'm going, this is 10 years now. So it's like, that's crazy.
And
to
I
me.
don't ever view, like, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to what everybody's saying, and I don't know how other people feel, but month in and month out of me doing nothing with the business aspect of it, I still never felt defeated or wronged at the end of the month, because I took care of myself, I took care of my family, I took care of my
Yes.
mind.
Mhm.
And in the end, it's a win-win for me. I'm not losing anything by being a Beachbody coach, even if my goal is never going to be a superstar coach. It's just not ever going to be my goal, but I'm a lifer with the company, even if I just stay a measly old emerald forever. But
But
that's not my
fine.
goal, but I'm okay with that, because there's no cost to it. You're not losing money. You're not paying in every month. And, I have a friend that's like, oh, sell LuLaRoe and Road End Fields. I'm like, no,
I'm also,
no.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy $7,000 worth of clothes every month and then have to package the shit up and send it out. I can't even
it's
send
like, I
shade
won't even
samples.
let myself start because I know it'll be bad news. It's like, there's no way that I can
Don't.
give you a coupon for your LuLaRoe stuff. Because I am a coupon queen. I love it. Kohl's is where it's at.
when you were talking about the not getting somewhere as fast as you thought and planning on being in for the long haul, I was staring at this quote that I wrote from Gary V, and it says, the disproportionate reason most people will not win is lack of patience.
Yes.
And I wrote that down and started
Mhm.
because it's so true. Like, we all just assume that the Melanie Mitros and the Amy Silvermans were like overnight successes, and that if we do what they do, we're gonna. And it's just not true. I mean, even Shailene's story about Shailene Extreme failing and the original promotions failing, they failed. Like, Carl has talked about how his initial stuff failed and they had to figure it out. Like, all of them, everyone we look up to, took a while to get there.
And they have failed more, like, the most. They are the ones who've gone through the most failure, and that's
And
why
like with
they're
Shailene, she
successful.
was saying with the first program, she was like, it actually took them 9 years to get to a point where they can call themselves successful and believe it.
Right.
So it's like, to look at it, to now have been in it for a little bit, and at least to see where people can go and what some people have done, it's like, it's been so eye-opening. It's I never thought that sort of stuff was possible without college stuff. I didn't go to real college. I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, so it was a certificate program over the summer. So that's the extent of my education. So everything else is just self-taught and what I found online and what I've learned just through doing other people's programs. And like, even for me personally, I didn't start with Chalene Johnson. I started with Jillian Michaels, and I didn't start with Beachbody. I started with Spark People, which is a free online community. And they have like the recipes and the food tracker and all that, workout videos and whatever. So it's like, that was where I started. But it basically set me up as a foundation to transition into this. And it's like, I had no idea this is what I wanted to get to, but it's definitely worked out to be
what
I
meant
want it to
find,
be.
yeah.
Right.
So.
There was something that kind of hit me this week. I was talking with a customer back to personal development. And it's not just for us, you guys. Like, I'm realizing through my personal development, I'm able to help some of the things that I don't necessarily connect with. I've been able to help my customers who also need personal development. You know, and a lot of people who are, you know, overweight, this particular customer is, you know, really, you know, overweight and unhealthy. She's really sick, and, you know, she's just started drinking the shakes, and it's very clear that it's more a mental thing than a physical thing. And that's where the issue stems from. So the personal development that I'm doing is not only helping me, but I'm able to relay that to her and encourage her in ways that are making her think differently. And even though I haven't, and I think I will, I haven't necessarily suggested that she read a certain book or whatever, but just the little nuggets that I'm learning and the mental aspect of it through personal development, I'm able to relay that to the customers, and that's helping them even more sometimes than the videos or the shakes. It's a mental thing, a lot of people, you know, and so that was kind of a big aha moment for me this week, because I was able to relay, you know, something to her that I had just read, and it really, you know, struck her, and she, you know, she kind of broke down a little bit, and she's like, "You're right." And I was like, wow, that's something that I didn't really connect with, but I was able to still use that to help somebody else. So it's kind of twofold, the personal development, and I totally agree it should be the number one vital behavior, because and it's not just that too, it's like once we're all working on ourselves, we're becoming happier, more positive, inspiring people through personal development. People see that, you know, I had a friend who I haven't seen since high school who was driving through Tahoe this week and just stopped, and he was like, "I'm just so inspired." He's like, "Even if people don't like or comment on your posts," he's like, "I just want you to know like how awesome they are and how inspiring they are." And so it's like, and he's somebody that I haven't talked to in 10 years. He's never liked a post. He's never nothing, but I did reach out to him recently just to say how awesome his travels are, and you know, just to check in, and that's where I'm like, these vital behaviors work, like reaching out to somebody that I probably wouldn't have reached out to. You know, he stopped through, we got to catch up, his sister's interested in beach, but just all these things, it's like, it works if you just use this like system of personal development, inviting and working on ourselves and being proof of the products. It's mind-blowing how simple it is, and how I tend to make things complicated because I'm a perfectionist. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, we can all be super successful with this, just doing the basics. You don't have to go, you know, crazy and do anything above and beyond, but just sticking to those vital behaviors is really what has, since Summit, I've been kind of focusing on that, and I've been noticing a big difference.
Connects me back to what I was saying before about the coach difference and why coaches are valuable, because it's I would venture to say 99.9% of people, it's way harder to accept that I have to make a mental change or I have something to correct mentally than it is to say I need to lose 20 pounds. Absolutely. Like, to lose 20, I have 50 pounds too, but I can say that. That's easy to say, but to say I'm insecure about this, or I'm afraid of this, or I don't like this about myself, that's so much harder. Yes. And so you can go on to Spark People, or you can sign up for Weight Watchers, or you can do all of these other things, and it's going to be focused on that easy to say physical thing, and it's never going to get you to the place where you're addressing that internal piece.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the other piece of the personal development is it's taught me a lot about other people too, as far as like how people reactions to certain things are not your fault. And even I'm a Cancer, so I take everything emotionally, and it's my first reaction to be like, either, oh my God, what the hell is going on, or like, okay, it's not working, and there's no happy medium in between there. so it's like to now realize, like, okay, people, just because they're acting that way to me, it's not me that they're doing it. It's because of them and how they grew up and their life and how they're not fulfilled. They should have personal development personally, but
I
can find it.
My sister is probably my biggest critic and problem, but I'll tell you that I use her as a learning tool in order to. My sister uses me for personal development because she knows that I'm going to say all the right things to her. It doesn't mean it's what she wants to hear, but she knows that I'm going to be able to talk to her when she has a bad situation. She doesn't believe in beach bodies. She won't drink shakes. She doesn't believe in drinking a meal. Whatever. That's her thing. I'm not going to convince her otherwise. But 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation and I got a frantic phone call from her at 2:00 in the morning, which was totally and completely out of the spectrum. So I flipped out, answered my phone, and she was hysterical. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she had gone to bumper boats that evening on a family vacation with her in-laws and didn't think anything of it and went to step onto the bumper boat. She's overweight, she's stuck in her head, and she tipped the boat and almost fell into the water, embarrassed herself. Nobody was even looking or paying attention, but to her, it was shattering, and she couldn't get past it. And her husband is not a very, uber supportive, help her feel better. He's a really small, skinny guy. And she didn't know how else to get out of her own way. And that was what stemmed her to come to my house and look at my fridge, for me to go to her house, help her clean out her cabinets. Because with her, it's going to be baby steps of doing that. But it's going back to what you said, Danielle, about, yes, my sister and I are both overweight, so we relate to each other. But my sister is so negative and so nasty and just so spoiled at this point in her head that she is borrowing personal development books from me. So if I do nothing else but help her clean her head up a little bit, then she will figure out what she needs to do to swim and get to that next point of losing weight and feeling more confident. And I don't know, maybe that seems silly, but
no, not at all. I mean, that goes back to one of the things that Shalene said, and I think it might have been in my workout with her, was just keep doing it, because you're not going to convince somebody.
No.
And that's going to be selling. Like you're not going to get there. Just keep doing it, and when people are ready, they will,
they'll reach
back out to you.
I think one of the things that I thought of when you were talking about, or someone was talking about, like, sharing positivity, like how personal development helps us become more positive, and how it's great to share that. I think one piece of that I want to touch on is that is going to turn a lot of people away from you. It's going to cause people to criticize you, whether it's behind your back or to your face sometimes. And that is also what makes personal development so important too, because you need to develop a backbone to be able to be like, I can't take this personally. This person is the one that needs help, not me.
Right.
I need to, what I've taken is I need to do this even more to show these people that you can turn your life around and become a more positive person. Because I remember I never criticized people to their faces. Like, it blows my mind that people actually do that. But I remember when I was overweight and unhappy with myself back in college, when I gained the freshman 25 probably. And I would look at people who were so skinny, and I would be like, oh, they're not having any fun with their lives.
Yeah,
what do they even eat? And I literally in my head, I would talk so much shit about them. And now that I'm trying to be a person who makes healthier choices, I get it. So when people say negative things to you, or when they're turned off by your new lifestyle, or when you might get blocked, or people might not like you spreading the positivity, go harder with it, and don't let it bother you. Don't let it bring you down. Know that those people are the people that need you to keep
always
doing
watching.
it. They're the ones that need you to keep showing up, because they're the ones who don't believe that it's possible, and then you need to show them that it is. But I mean, that's hard.
They want to watch you.
That hurts. It hurts when people, you're trying to be so positive and people try to bring you down, but it's just you can't let it bring you down. You just got to keep going higher and showing them that it's possible.
Oh, something smelled good.
And another thing that I don't know where I heard this from. Again, I was telling you, I hear all these things and I can never tell you what I heard it from.
I know.
But along the lines of, I think what you were saying, how when you look at exercising, are you thinking I want to lose 10 to 15 pounds, or are you thinking I want my muscles to be stronger, I want to live longer, I want to have more energy? Like what is your thought process that gives you the reason to do these things? And same with like eating, like your food choices. Am I making healthier food choices because I want to lose weight and therefore making it like you dread it, you feel like you can't have so much, like you feel like it's a burden almost? Or are you looking at the foods you're putting into your body as a reason to fuel yourself, to make yourself healthy, to again live longer? Like it matters so much, the reason in your mind why you're doing those things. That's going to help you stick with it. And for people who have it in their minds, like I just want to lose the weight, like we need to help them realize it's not about that. That's a byproduct of you treating your body the way you're supposed to treat it. So that's another like way to help people with it mentally, I think. What else do we want to talk about?
Any other summit takeaways? Katie,
I love the
you've been quiet over
recognition.
there.
I know. Speak.
You were the one that wanted this so badly.
I'm not sure like what to say.
Whatever you're
Whatever
thinking
comes to
about.
mind, baby.
I guess like the biggest thing that I took away is to stop comparing yourself to others. Because at first I'm sure a lot of you could tell I was a little grumpy because I kept seeing people that were like already fit and tiny, and it made me really discouraged. But like as everyone started talking, it made me realize that it's not a competition.
Yeah, that's so true.
And the only person you really have to deal with is yourself. And I'd say the second biggest thing I took away is be the challenger that you would want to coach.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, and the coach that you would want
On your
to
team.
have your
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I think it's so true. Like
And
it's so easy to compare yourself to other people.
Danielle's
Like,
like, what are they doing?
I just had this like feeling that I didn't fit in anywhere, and it was just me being fit in fine.
you do fit in
You do
fine,
fit
but
in
I
fine.
think
I
those
think
were
that's
real.
an okay place to go to. Especially I was overwhelmed this year too, but the first year I was really overwhelmed just by the
Those
number
are
of
genuine
people.
feelings, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the
the number of
emotions.
people and the
It's
emotions
like
we're
on
going
the
through.
the entire time.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
it's
seriously?
a really like emotionally raw experience, and so to let yourself feel that. I mean, we are all extremely unique, and sometimes that can feel isolating. Like I'm the only one like me. I'm the only one going through this, and then you're in a place like that where you're like,
Clearly, I'm not the only
bajillion
one, but
people that aren't like me that are sharing the same experience, and it's hard to sort of figure out where you belong in that. Like, what's my place in all of this? Where am I going to settle? And you're still early in your journey, so, and I'm still figuring this out. So it's just sort of like, me too. Where's going to be my sweet spot? Where's my my place in this entire organization, within my team, within my family unit? As you're getting married this year and you're developing a new family unit, there's a whole lot that goes into that. So those are real, honest emotions, and A, totally normal, and B, like legitimate. Like you're in a place right now, it's so much change in your life that you're gonna feel that like chaos. It's chaotic.
Right. And like I realized when I was there too that I was like suppressing shit, and like it just started coming out little by little, and before you know it,
Yeah, it's almost impossible for someone to keep feelings in.
yeah.
Because once one comes out, they just kind of all and then
It breaks the seal.
I know, seriously. But I think another thing to take away from that too is no matter what, and I think it's so easy as coaches to lose sight of this, is that like we're telling everyone else to put their health and their needs first. And it's so easy for us to start not doing that for ourselves.
And then feel guilty.
And then you feel guilty. Yeah, you're like, I need to be helping more people. Like, or it just, I don't know, you just lose sight of it, and you're like so busy doing all these other things that like yourself all of a sudden is the last thing that you're taking care of. And that is when, like, when I'm not following a program, when I'm not like eating right, when I'm not doing personal development, when I'm not like putting myself first, everything suffers.
Yeah.
Like everything in my life. My job, like I hate my job even more, like my other job. I just feel like I'm not worthy to coach. Like I can't do this. Like my mean girl shows up. I'm listening to Mastering Your Mean Girl, and I freaking love it. It shows up like it rages, and it makes me, and it's harder to like come back from that. But then I have to remind myself, and we all need to do this. Like when your mean girl, aka your person who puts you down, who tries to keep you in your comfort zone, who tries to like control the situation, is raging, that means you need to focus more on yourself and remember, not lose sight of what your needs are. Like feeling like that, I'm sure everybody felt some sort of that. Like there was an overwhelming amount of coaches there, and they do so well with the recognition, which is amazing. But at the same time, like that's overwhelming too, because it's like, oh, well, I wish I was recognized for this, or like it kind of, it can go both ways. Like you can be super excited that you're being recognized for something, but then be super bummed that you missed out on something else.
Right.
But you can't let that stuff get to you. You just have to use it as fuel to keep yourself going.
Yeah. Well, recognition, and this isn't a summit takeaway, but more just my own personal, it's one of the vital behaviors now. It's important, but it's as much as a thank you, it's recognition. Thanks for being here this weekend, guys. That's recognition.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, and I want to implore on you guys as my teammates, to not set any of your goals around rank or status within the company. Set your goals on, sure, have a goal about how much money you'd be liking to make, because it's a business. You're running a business at the end of the day. Set a goal around financial gain. Set a goal on how many lives you're going to change. Set a goal on how many people you're going to help. Recognition will come as a result of that, but if you wrap yourself around, and I'm speaking from experience because I'm 1 month away from All-Star and it has preoccupied my brain, and I'm really trying not to, but it's there in the back of my brain that how awesome will it be when I get to say I'm a Success Club All-Star. So you gotta stop and remember that the recognition is a result of your actions, not the reason for your actions.
Yes.
And if you never make top coach, I mean, you look at people like Jason Diebold, who is probably one of the wealthiest Beachbody coaches, and he's a 9-star diamond. He's never been top coach, and because he's focused on, this is a business. I want to retire my parents. I want to be wealthy. I want to be able to have fun toys. Like, and he talks about that. And he's like, I don't care about standing up on that stage. I don't care about it. And so when you kind of let go of that need to be the top, maybe you'll get there, and that's wonderful if you do. But it shouldn't be the goal.
It changes the way you take action when you have goals like that.
Yes.
But along the lines of Success Club, like I think that is not necessarily an achievement to like strive for in a way that's like nasty where you just want to sell things. But like I think of Success Club more as like, that's another life that I've touched and I'm changing, and I'm offering this solution to them. Yep. So Success Club to me should be a non-negotiable, not because of the points, but because of the lives that you're changing, which is why I want to start throughout our team calling it the 3 Lives Club. I've heard that before. I don't remember. Someone on a national wake-up call said that that's how they talk about it. And I think that speaks so much more to what it actually means. I'm surprised that they call it Success Club in a way. I think they do because it means your business is successful when you're achieving it. So like it makes sense, but at the same time, like when I myself am like, I need to hit Success Club, and it's like the end of the month and I'm getting desperate, I forget that I need to change someone's life. That's not what I'm focused on. I'm focusing on, I want those points. I need to sell and challenge back. I need to sell and challenge back. And that's not what it's about. So
yeah, at the end of the day, Beachbody corporate is a business. And so the reason Be Proof the Product Work is number one, and the reason it's called Success Club is they want us to be selling their product. They want us to do it in the right way, and I believe in cause, vision, and mission.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
the bottom line is still the bottom line, right? So we can be a lot more fluid and squishy as a team of coaches than they can be at corporate when they have P&Ls to worry about.
Yeah, true.
But I love the 3 Lives Club, and I still, you know, for those people that want to build a business and have an income, Success Club is super important.
Yeah.
But also remember that if you have free people in your challenge group, if you have people that aren't buying challenge packs, that are just signing up for a program or for on demand, like, you're still changing lives.
Absolutely.
And they'll get there eventually, or maybe they won't, but most of them do. Most of them do come around, and you know, that's.
I am surprised that there are some things that aren't recognized because I think when you really think about changing somebody's life, it's not just signing them up, but it's keeping them going. And those are the things that I'm kind of surprised that there's not more.
Like, there should be recognition for, you have a customer that's been on Shakeology for.
There's a 365.
Yeah. Which they do get the cup.
They get the cup. But you as a coach,
keeping
them in there, and maybe they figure that the money that you're making is your reward. But I feel like if you want, you know, rewards the behaviors that that you want to see happen. So
and I do think they do a great job of, like, their recognition this summit compared to last summit for some reason seemed better to me, which was cool. Because I mean,
you also have to figure that year to year as we go, the company is doubling, quadrupling. So they have to step their game up and change the way they do things every time we go. So in some respects, it's never the same. It's always fresh. And I agree. Yeah. And like for me, I didn't go to opening or closing because for me personally, I don't do well in stadiums, in heat. I don't like a lot of people. I knew that from last year. So the live stream was key for me. Cranked the AC in the hotel room, laid in bed with my phone, and laid there and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing making dinner.
Is it great?
I was just thinking about what you said about you wish that personal development was the number one. But then right afterwards, you talked about making sure that you're always taking time to take care of you.
Okay, so you're right. So that's why
work will always be number one, because you got to take care of yourself first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So personal development should be number 2.
Yeah. I agree. You're right.
Yeah, they're moving recognition up, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's good, but interesting. I would love to kind of be behind the thought process of
what is it?
I think it's 3 now or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
And personal development was the last one.
Yeah, which you're surprised about.
Which the one thing I will say, this was one of my takeaways also, was, and it kind of goes back to what somebody said about just doing it. Oh, you said it, Danielle, about just like do the work, stop being a perfectionist. But it's like, I am a personal development junkie. I spend 2 hours in my car every day, and I spend 2 hours listening to personal development, and then there's not that time to take action. You know, whereas I see, like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes in my head it's almost like, well, I've done it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I haven't. Actually, all I've done is listen to it.
I know.
And I need to actually.
Well, Laura actually, whoa, sorry, I just won my little string there. Said, I think, because this is when we were at dinner, I think we were talking about personal development and how you can get so caught up in, because I freaking love it too. Like, I want to listen to it all day. I don't even listen to music anymore. When I'm in my car, it's like an audio or a podcast or something. But like, I'm getting overloaded with personal development, but I'm not doing anything with it. So Laura had said how, like, finding a system of, I'm going to listen or read for half an hour a day, like giving yourself a max. And that's not necessarily like that's not necessarily like and at first I think that can feel weird because you're like, right, I need personal development. Give me all the personal development. But like, you have to set a limit on how much personal development you're going to take every day, because you need to give yourself time to put it into action. Whether it's making a post about something that you learned that really touched you, or whether it's like, I just listened to this and like, oh, I have so many guts right now, I'm gonna go like speak to someone that I wasn't going to before, like stuff like that. Like, you have to take it and use it, or like share it with your team, or like anything like that, because I do the same thing. I listen to so much.
Yeah.
And then, like, I've listened to, I don't even know how many audiobooks, but I could probably count on one hand how much I've actually, like, I've not shared that stuff nearly enough. Like, there's so many pieces of these books that we read, and, like, just a quote from it. Like, if you share that, that can resonate with, like, so many other people. So you have to, like, I think it's such a good idea to set a limit on, like, I'm only going to do this much. Then I'm going to post about it. And then if you still have time, like, sure, do more. But,
Yeah.
you know what
And
I
like
mean?
if you're in the car, maybe listen to 30 minutes and then take 30 minutes of like voice notes of how you're gonna apply that. Like,
I mean, I'm
see
still
what you
old
wanna
school.
do
I
as a
like the books, and I sit
Yeah.
with my highlighter, and then
I'm a
I
highlighter.
go back,
Psycho.
and then I reread the areas that I highlighted, and maybe that seems really silly. But
no,
No,
I mean,
I
I like
have-
books too.
I have to have
That's
a
what I'm
something like. For me to just listen to it, it's like my ADD kicks in, and I'm
I'm the
like,
same way.
"Ugh,
I
I just catch everything out of it." So I'm like, forget about that. But the books, and even taking notes, sometimes I'll have my notebook with me while I'm doing it, but I'll even sometimes just set a timer for 30 minutes, and because then I get caught up too, and I do the exact same thing. Before you know it, it's like, oh, I read the whole damn book, and then it's like,
Well,
shit,
so
now I
then
didn't do anything with it.
Exactly. And I just found out you can actually take notes in Audible. Did
Yeah.
you know that?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I know you can clip.
Yeah. Well,
Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Oh.
But you can add a
You
little.
can add.
You can add a something that if something struck you at that point, you add the. You mark the clip.
I mark the clip, but I'm always driving, so I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
But you can
type in
voice.
notes.
You can voice. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Danielle, I know you don't have a ton of time left. Is there anything else you wanted to share, or does anyone else have a summit takeaway?
Gosh, anything I want to share? I think that kind of covered at least my big takeaways. And patience is the biggest thing, I think, for all of us. It's kind of like we touched on, like it can be overwhelming to see all these successful coaches, and it's like we all want to be there. We all want to be at that point where we can quit our other jobs if that's what you're looking for. If you want more time in your day, whatever it is, your ultimate goal, and you see all these people who have achieved that, and it's like we just want to be there now. But I think patience is the name of the game, and it's about planting seeds, and all these people that we're reaching out to and inviting, and they're saying no. It's important for us still support them and not get defensive, and because those people are starting to come back around. At least I'm noticing that. And in the very beginning, I think I didn't know how to approach it, and I don't think any of us really do, and we're still all figuring it out. But I'm noticing, I probably turned a couple people away, and in the beginning it was probably family, and I'm having some of them come back around because I think I've changed my method, and not just preaching Beachbody like it's the only answer, because it's not. But I think, like we said, like we're the difference. It's not the Beachbody product. So when somebody has something bad to say, or they're just not into Beachbody, they're into something else. They like to run, or they like to do this. Well, instead of just trying to then go back to Beachbody and like, oh, well, Beachbody would be good for you because of this. It's like, no, like take a step back. Stop talking about Beachbody, support them, admit that, yeah, Beachbody is not the only thing, home workouts aren't for everybody. And the more I take that approach, and it's a little less abrasive, the more people are coming around, which it feels like that wouldn't work. Like if I just say like, oh, that's great. I'm glad like running's working for you. That's so awesome. And I just had somebody come around. She's like, well, I'm still not really into the workouts, but tell me more about the shakes. And if I would have handled it the way I did in the beginning, where it was like still trying to sell, yeah, but this, or maybe this would work, or yeah, but this, she probably would have never came back. Because it was more, they feel that when you're just trying to sell it. And sometimes we're not even trying to sell it, but we're so passionate about Beachbody that it can come across that way. So really taking a step back and not like vomiting Beachbody all over everybody, which is hard to do sometimes, but just showing how much you care. There's a quote I have on my board that I love, and I forget where it came from, but it's, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So the more you support people and show that you care about what's going on in their lives, and put Beachbody, on the back burner for a little bit, and really just show that you care about whatever they're going through. I think that's gonna, those are planting seeds, and those seeds are gonna grow and help your businesses grow. And so I think that was one of my biggest takeaways over the last couple of months, leading up to Summit, and then after Summit. I feel like Summit isn't just like this week-long event. It's like a constant, like it's constantly running through my mind, and things that I didn't quite pick up on while I was there, or I'm kind of like thinking back on it, like, oh, okay. So yeah, patience and planting seeds. That's kind of the biggest takeaway for me lately.
I forget which one I watched, but it might have even been Amy Silverman again. But she was saying when she was up on stage, she's like, literally, the only reason why I'm up here is because I've been in this longer than you guys have. There's no reason why you won't get here eventually. I've just been here longer, so that's basically what it boils down to. And then the other part is too, like, people are always watching. Like, I find a lot of times that I get, like, I'll go and I'll say happy birthday messages, and people will bring it up on their own and being like, oh, you're doing such a great job. I watch you all the time. And it's like, oh, well, I wouldn't have known that. You don't like any of my stuff. You don't comment on my posts. Absolutely. I don't even think you liked my page, but thank you.
I got messages when I posted that I was taking a 6-month break from Beachbody to regroup, and that again was the same thing. Like, don't stop posting. Don't stop. We hope you're not gonna. And it's like, no, that's not the. Yeah. But I mean, it was people that I never in a million years thought were, one, watching, or two, would have ever given me any type of, reason.
Yeah, the reaction is, I mean, and I know this from other network marketing companies that I've been support. Like, if I like it, they're gonna reach out and try to sell me something. Or if I like it, they're gonna think I need to lose weight, or I'm out of shape, or there's something. So like, or comment, there's a lot of people that are resistant to putting themselves out there publicly on social media, even with a like even a like can be vulnerable.
Yeah. Joe Lucas.
Joe Lucas is a liker.
Did you see that post? Like too many posts too quickly.
That's so right, because I do that with like LuLaRoe and all these other things. Like, yeah, you're afraid, like, oh, if I like it, they're gonna want to, So and it's a little arrogant of us to think that Beachbody's any different, because we're passionate about it because it works for us, and but it's not that way for everybody. So yeah, that's a really good point.
And another reason to reach out to people, even if they aren't liking or commenting, because they might still be watching. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to say along the lines of what you were talking about is meaning, because it's we're, like you said, we're so passionate about everything, and we love these products so much. And when someone asks a question about it, I think it is appropriate to be enthusiastic and excited and share it with passion. But like you said, it can turn people away. So I actually saw this somewhere where a good way to lean into a conversation is for it to flat out say, I just want you to know, I'm very enthusiastic and passionate about this stuff. So what I say to you may come off as being pushy or what's the word I'm looking for? Salesy. Salesy, or where I'm trying to convince you. That's the word. I just want you to know I'm not trying to convince you. The choice is absolutely up to you, but I just can't help my enthusiasm. This stuff has worked so well for me and so many people I know. Sharing that passion, you still want to be passionate because you don't want to downplay anything, because this shit is unreal. But like you said, it can come off. People can be like, oh, whoa, back up, I'm not ready for this. So if you just flat out bring it up to them and say, I'm just so you know, I'm very enthusiastic about this. In no way am I trying to convince you to do anything, but I just want to say it straight out so that they recognize it as excitement and passion and belief in something versus you trying to attack them and be like, get this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a really good thing. And then one other thing I wanted to say before we close, I don't know when we're closing, but I just want to make sure that I put this out there, is a lot of what speakers at Summit were saying too is that in order for you to be successful, you need to make sacrifices in your life. Don't watch
so much TV, like say no to going out with friends certain times, like wake up earlier, go to bed later, or like there's like look at your life. Like I think it would be really beneficial for all of us individually to look at your life Monday through Sunday. What do I do every day? At what times? I mean, it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I remember Melanie Mitchell, I think, said this, like, and schedule what you do normally, how much time it takes you, and then evaluate that and say, okay, what can I do in this amount of time instead of watch this TV show, or instead of do this, instead of do that. That's gonna like push you to grow faster. And obviously, this depends on what your goals are. Like for me, I want this to be my full-time job by my birthday next year, which means I need to sacrifice a lot. I don't know completely, but possibly.
I have more flexibility to do other.
I would consider doing per diem, but we'll see. But you know, depending on obviously how fast you want to grow with this, like your sacrifices can be more or less. But overall, like you absolutely need to be willing to sacrifice things and to not let anyone give you shit about it, or like put you down about it, or like try and convince you that you're wasting your time, or, you know, pressure you into doing things. Like you gotta have your life and your goals in the forefront of your mind at all times. And if people aren't gonna be supportive of that, then that's their problem and not yours.
That's one. It was one of the takeaways that I wrote down, and we were talking about emotional stuff, so I didn't bring it up yet, but this ties into that. One of the top coaches in one of the breakout sessions, I can't remember which, said, if you want this to be a business, you need to treat it like a business. And that sounds really self-explanatory, but think of what you do on a day-to-day basis. If that was a job, if you were employed, would you do that? Would you watch TV instead of getting your job done? Would you take a nap instead of getting your job done? Would you drink with friends instead of, like, there's things you wouldn't do if somebody else was running the business that you worked for.
Or if you put $100,000 up front to start this, you treat it very differently.
So you have to set business hours. You have to have goals. You have
to. You need to like use social media appropriately.
I get lost.
I have to be honest with you. When I first signed up to be a coach, the first thing I did was become friends with like every single other beach body coach on the planet. I have deleted so many people, and it's not because I don't maybe think that, I don't know, but I don't relate to them. I'm not friends with them.
It's just inefficient.
I'm not, and I just can't. And for, you know, Laura and I talk about this a lot. Laura has the ability to, you know, she's gone in and created lists and done. Me being disorganized, I just need to not be friends with you. Because if I'm not friends with you, then I don't see you. And it's just, for me, it's a mental thing. But I've realized that, like, I was spending all of my time trying to like everybody's posts on the team pages, trying to answer all types of questions, and that's great if you're working from home and you have a lot of ability to maybe double screen it and be doing work. And I don't. I have a job that I'm in a lab all day, so I was actually getting in trouble at work for spending way too much time on social media. And I wasn't even running my business. I was just being social. So I feel like part of it is like if I have other coaches coming in, the last thing I'm going to do is one, put them in a huge team page, and two, encourage them to friend, you know, 30 different coaches.
Yeah. And I'm stuck because I did the same thing. You know, I'm friends with so many people.
And now
I just like.
That's why I
feel so bad. I know.
You can
What, you deleted me?
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
I've unfollowed everybody that isn't in my direct up or down line, and then maybe 10.
Because it also takes away from your newsfeed. Like,
but I also found, you know, last year at Summit, I met 2 or 3 people that I'm friends with on Facebook now, and I'm still friends with them. And this year I did the exact same. And I actually like having a little bit of variety. They're not on our team. They don't have the same upline. And I like but it's just 2 or 3 people. It's not a whole team of people. But I find that I get more from them than I do from some of the leaders that I should be looking up to. So
one of the super Saturdays I went to by myself, I met up with this girl named Heather Olin, and she was one of the like quarterly Beach Body Challenge winners or something. Not quarterly, but monthly. Where she was in the running to be one of the quarterly. And like it was just I was by myself, so we were just shooting the shit. And then she showed me her before picture, and she had already lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Wow.
And now, like, I'm still friends with her to this day, and it's like, so I've followed her journey, and like, she's in Florida or something like that. So it's a completely different journey from mine. And hers is like, she has an autistic son, or in the process of finding out if he is or not. But like, watching her journey and the way that she, it's nice to have an outside person to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love watching Eleni. Like, she's doing really, really well.
She's hilarious.
She's a freaking riot. I love her.
Pineapple lady.
Yeah.
Pineapple
The it's so funny. It's like every time I
done, but
yeah.
Oh, really? You think the pineapple got a little bit overboard?
she's actually a friend of mine.
Yeah.
But I had to unfollow her because she shows up on my newsfeed like 20 minutes a day, and I was like, this is preventing somebody else from being on my newsfeed. I'm just really thinking about it critically now.
Only if you like stuff, though.
Huh? She shows up in my newsfeed.
Honestly, it's no
All the
offense.
time, and I
Anybody
don't
that talks about
Oh,
like
really?
anybody that's God and all that, I have to unfollow instantly because I will not relate to you.
Oh my
Right,
god.
same here.
Because I don't agree that God and Beachbody are two in the same. But I understand
I
that certain
agree.
people take it. That's their thing. But I'm not going to jump in. I'm not going to like your post about how you read,
No.
scripture this morning and
I'll
then
just
did your
keep
workout.
scrolling.
Like, so there's no point in following you.
It's always
it's like, it's not bad.
It's like, who do I want in my newsfeed every day? And it's more important to have Beachbody coaches.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think I spend too much time liking Beachbody stuff than
Yes.
regular stuff.
That's normal in the beginning. I did the same thing in the beginning, and it's good in the beginning because you're learning a lot from those people. But at some point, you have to start to filter it out.
Somebody, I forget who it was, but at Summit talked about that, about how, in the beginning, when you're trying to figure out who you are as a coach, like what your brand is, it's good to follow all these people and, not to copy, but to like see how they're doing it, see what works, see what you're attracted to, because that's what other people are going to be attracted to. Other people like you are going to be attracted to. And ultimately, that's who you're looking to attract. But it said, once you figure out your brand and who you are and who you want to be as a Beachbody coach, to stop following those people, because you'll start to copy those people and you're going to start posting things that are similar to what they said, and then all of a sudden you're not being you. And then people can see that when you're not being you. People can feel that. So it's good in the beginning to figure out who you want to be like, or who you are as a coach, but not to get too caught up in it long term.
That's the beauty of the unfollow button, because well, no, because then you can. It's not. Yes, you want to offend anybody by unfriending them, but they're also still in your friend list. So if you're like, I'm stuck, and this person always inspires me, you can actively go to their page.
Right.
But it's just not going to constantly be in your newsfeed distracting you. So you can proactively go once a week and check in and be like, this person always makes me smile, or this person always has good ideas. But you don't have to be seeing them every
The other thing about following other coaches, like when the cruise was going on, I had followed a lot of people from the cruise, and like I came across Haley, I think her name, it's either Christian.
Oh yeah, I love her.
I love her, and she's so awesome. So it's like I've now started dialogue back and forth with her about just random stuff, but just to be able to reach outside of the group, and
it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
And
It's
what's
been a
so
big
cool
deal.
about that too is when you do that, like everyone's so freaking cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's like, "Ugh, you're not on my team. I'm not
Right.
talking to you."
Yeah.
And then same with Fit Club, like having Jason come and having him be there as a different perspective altogether, and Sarah, and it's just so nice to meet with people that understand what you're going through and understand what it takes to do what you're doing, but are not necessarily either left or right of you. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I have to get. But thank you for including me, and I just wanted to say how awesome you guys all are and how much a part of my journey you guys have all been. And I'm so thankful to have you all by my side because that's the most important part, really.
We're thankful for
So we love you. Have a great weekend. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye, guys.
What?
Oh, wait, are we done?
Do we want to be done?
I don't know. Does everyone have anything else?
I